The City of Lights recently played host to a different kind of enlightenment. World leaders gathered in Paris for a summit on artificial intelligence. Now, I know what you're thinking. John, that sounds about as much fun as a cheese grater enema, and you'd be half right. The summit was a grab bag of lofty ideals and geopolitical maneuvering. The big item on the agenda, a joint declaration on AI ethics. Think of it as a 10 commandments for robots, but with less smiting and more clauses about data privacy. The goal was simple: establish some ground rules for AI development before it spiraled into a Black Mirror episode. You know, the one where your toaster judges your taste in bread. We're not far off, folks. Over 60 countries, including France, China and Canada, signed the declaration, but two notable holdouts were the United States and the United Kingdom. It's like showing up to a potluck and refusing to touch the casserole. You're not just being rude, you're missing out on some potentially delicious metaphors. So why the cold feet from two of the biggest players in the AI game? Well, their reasons were about as clear as a politician's expense report. The AI Ethics Declaration was basically a laundry list of good intentions. Transparency, accountability, fairness, all the buzzwords you'd expect from a UN committee meeting. The gist of it was this: AI should benefit humanity, not enslave it. A noble goal, to be sure, but also vague enough to drive a robot truck through. For some countries, signing the declaration was a no-brainer. It was a chance to get ahead of the curve on AI regulation and position themselves as responsible stewards of technology. Plus, it made for good PR. Who doesn't love a good photo op of world leaders pretending to understand how algorithms work? But for the US and the UK, the declaration was apparently a bridge too far. They argued that it was too broad, too restrictive, and didn't adequately address their specific concerns. It's like refusing to eat a cake because it doesn't have enough candles. You're focusing on the wrong thing. Let's start with the UK. Their official excuse for not signing the declaration was that it lacked sufficient detail on global governance and national security. Basically, they wanted more specifics on how the rules would be enforced and how it would affect their ability to spy on their citizens, you know, the usual concerns. Now, the UK has been trying to position itself as a leader in ethical AI. They even have a fancy government office dedicated to it. But their refusal to sign the declaration has left some experts scratching their heads. It's like showing up to a chess tournament and refusing to play by the rules. You're not going to win any matches that way. Critics argue that the UK's decision undermines its credibility on the global stage. They also worry that it sends the wrong message to other countries, particularly those with less than stellar human rights records. If the UK won't play by the rules, why should anyone else? Now, let's talk about the United States, the land of the free and the home of the technologically terrified. US Vice President J.D. Vance, a man who looks like he's allergic to anything invented after the printing press, was particularly critical of the declaration. He accused Europe of trying to stifle innovation with its excessive regulation. Vance specifically called out the EU's Digital Services Act and GDPR, two pieces of legislation designed to protect user privacy and rein in the power of tech giants. Apparently, protecting people's data is now considered a threat to progress. Who knew? The US has long argued that it needs to move fast and break things when it comes to AI. They're worried that too much regulation will stifle innovation and allow China to take the lead in the global AI race. It's the Cold War all over again, but instead of nukes, we're fighting over who has the smartest algorithms. So, what does all this mean for the future of AI? Well, the good news is that the robots haven't risen up and enslaved us yet. The bad news is that we're no closer to agreeing on how to prevent that from happening. The US and UK's refusal to sign the AI Ethics Declaration is a setback for global cooperation on this critical issue. It sends a message that the two countries are more interested in protecting their own interests than working together to ensure that AI is developed and deployed responsibly. As AI continues to advance at a breakneck pace, the need for global governance and ethical guidelines will only become more urgent. The US and UK need to decide whether they want to be part of the solution or part of the problem. Because if we don't get this right, we may all end up as batteries in the Matrix. And trust me, the food in the Matrix is terrible. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insights into the future of technology. See you next time.